Philosophers talk to our times. The great French philosopher who died 30 years ago this year, November the 4th, in case you wanted to have remembered when it was, Deleuze, was certainly right when he argued that if you removed God from the great 18th century philosopher Leibniz, you got a truly beautiful, demented, and strangely accurate picture of reality that was unsettling in its power and its truth. Just to remind you, for Leibniz, there was really only one thing that actually existed, and that was living things, you and me, and the world we all looked at and expressed partially and impartially. These individuals, then, he calls them monads, but it doesn't matter much, look out upon the world, one to the other. And as they express that world clearly, they form bodies and have perceptions through those bodies. But what you perceive and what you think is always a question of what and who and when you are. So that a Leibnizian body of a shrimp and my body would not look on the same universe, or at least would not see it in the same way, even if it was one and the same. And yet, of course, things just looking out into the universe and expressing a bit of it would be meaningless. It is events that tie these individuals together. Events, then, that resonate across the universe. Something happens, a great battle, or I just pick my nose, and it echoes across a portion of the universe, and eventually across all of it. Events, then, is what place the universe, what reckon up one thing with another, what allow us to say it's this universe rather than that universe. The universe Tarquin went back to Rome and raped Laetitia, and so the Republic and the Empire was built. Not the universe, he went and became a quiet king of Corinth. Events, then, is what hook the universe together, what allow each living thing to resonate in the minds of all the others. And God, for Leibniz, has the supreme role of before time reckoning up all these events and choosing the universe with the most amount of content, the most amount of truth within it. Well, bully for God. Deleuze's point is that if you take God out, it still works. The universe can still be understood in terms of individuals, each pulling out their own version of the universe, unique unto themselves, laced with their own desires, their own passions, their own versions of this is the world. But your world and my world are different, as our lives are different. And they're different again from the COVID virus or from a flea. We each then inhabit our own little universe that feels complete and total to itself. And yet, between these universes are the great events, the hand that squashes the flea that comes from outside, the virus that falls upon the guts of men and changes human history. Events, then, that place one individual in contact with another, that create ramifications, echoes, endlessly reverberating across lives and through time. And yet, Deleuze points out, for Leibniz, events were anchored in God. It was God that chose which universe you were in and made sure all the events were compatible. And if you remove God from the picture, what then? You still have events demanding universes exist, but you can never be sure of the exact event you are in. There is no guarantee. No, on the contrary. And how the event changes you and how it changes me will always be different. And yet, as I am changed, I then come back at you and change again who what you thought you saw. We are forever in a chiasmos, where each individual breaks the truth of each other individual, where no event is ever quite fixed or quite certain, where it always opens up into other possibilities, where we're always a bit alone and in the dark, unsure of where this will all end. Nor can we be. Events, then, as I've said elsewhere, are like a magic carpet, taking you between different possible universes, different ways you could be. And all of that is bully and dandy. And Deleuze, writing his great book on Leibniz in 1987, can simply leave it there, and it's fine. But for us, oh, for us, we have a far darker God playing against us now. You see, there is a logic in Leibniz's system that survives the death of God. He suggests that God is like a game player, playing a game like Carcassonne, trying to maximize the number of pieces on the board. Because each event has consequences, echoes down, changes the moves that you can make later in the game, always and forever. And once you've not got a divinity to anchor it all, what then? This game of echoes, of moves, has consequences. You invent a petrol engine, and 200 years later, mankind chokes or boils themselves to death and takes half of the mammalian life with them. Each move we make, then, echoes further and further down time. And time has an arrow once again, not leading to the best of all possible worlds, but rather to choking points, to points you can no longer go, places you can no longer go back to, moves you can no longer make. And isn't this the universe that we live? We've rediscovered God, but not good God, some demonic force that forces actions to have reactions, that chokes off movements. As slowly the world warms up, 1.5, 2 degrees, 3 degrees, 5 degrees. Each degree is like a move in this dreadful game, cutting off chance, cutting off possibility. Now be clear, life itself will not die. Nature will not die. We're not killing it. She is not there to be killed by us. Oh no. We're not playing out then some Greek fantasy. This is a far darker game. We will kill ourselves and those like us, the world that we have loved and that we have known. And other moves will then be made by other gods at other times. It is not then just that Leibniz, without God, turns events into a spiral where you can never quite be finished with them, never know where they'll end, where each event opens up into other futures as it changes and rechanges the world. But more than that, it is the God that replaces the Leibnizian God, the dark God, where seeming chance builds and builds, where our littlest moves have consequences and destroy our possibility of a future.